everybody.
What's up, everybody? My name is Brian.
My name is Chris.
Welcome to our first YouTube channel, Flaws and All.
Flaws and All.
So we named this channel Flaws and All because we want to be completely transparent, no judgment whatsoever. We want you to be who you are, what you want to be with us. Every Saturday we will discuss a topic and we will pick out of this bowl, and once we select this topic, we'll talk about this topic for X amount of minutes, X amount of hours, whatever the case may be. And then every week you can add in topics you would like to be discussed, and we will add those topics to this bowl. So make sure you keep tuning in, and maybe we'll select your topic.
So that means every time you come across our video, please leave a comment down below with an idea of what you would like to hear us discuss in any of these future topics. So with you that, play a major part in this.
Right. With that, none of the topics we selected so far, we have 10 topics right now in this bowl. She wrote 5, I selected 5. We have not discussed any topics. We have not scripted anything. This is completely fresh, free, off the grill, ready for you. So whatever we pull, that's what we'll discuss, no matter what.
Off
Flaws
the grill,
and all.
off the grill, or off the grid.
Okay. All right. She got jokes. All right. So the first topic today, you want to pick it? We'll discuss.
All right. Oh God.
Okay.
Okay. What?
This not liquor. It's just some ice water.
The first topic is justice.
Yo.
Justice. Wow. Especially with everything that's going on right now. What a coincidence that this was the first topic to talk about. So.
Interesting enough, that's the topic. One of the topics I wrote today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it. Justice. So I was born and raised Cleveland, Ohio. I'm an Aries, April 17th, 1982. So growing up, did I see a lot of, I guess you can say, miscarriages of justice? Not necessarily, but over my life and everything that I've been through or have seen with my family or friends, there is, some mischaracterizations of African Americans or Caucasians or Hispanics or Latinos, whatever the case may be, that we have to go through every day and fight through. Justice is like this saying now, no justice, no peace.
Mm-hmm.
So just like the African American guy who just got murdered, George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and you can see the people there, they're looting, they're rioting, and I'm not condoning that whatsoever, but you have to understand that everyone's voice has to be heard, no matter how ugly the situation is. And I think that's a big part of what's plaguing the society these days is people feel like they don't have a voice. They don't have a platform to express what's wrong or what's right within our country, within the African American community, within the white community, within the Latino community, whatever the case may be. So people need to be heard. So I think in this particular case with George Floyd, that we're just, as African Americans, we're done with it. We're kind of over not being heard. We're over being ignored. We're over the inequality. We're over the injustice. We're over, having to, beg, borrow, and steal to try to be the next level, next to that one guy, next to your peer, so to speak, just so you can have a fair shot at a job, at medical care,
yep.
Or just plain and simple, just walking down the street. I have never personally endured any type of racism directly, but and I pray I don't. But justice is it's an ugly topic, especially when there's so much injustice, specifically with the African American community. So I will let you go ahead and chime in.
My views on it is very similar to Brian's. However, what's going on today in the world scares me on another level. I have children, and the thought of them growing up in this society frightens me. It's just one of those things that some people can't relate to with, you know, your children walking down the street or driving in a car one day and they get pulled over and you don't know if they're going to come home, or, you know, simply because of the color of their skin, or they were being misjudged at the time. Like, it's a scary time right now. I think a lot of mothers and a lot of parents can relate to that. I have sons, so that really hits home for me. What's currently going on in society, like, really makes me think about, like, what if that's one of my children in the future? Like, the thought of them not being able to come home, or it just is terrifying. So it like I said, I agree with him. As far as not every cop is a bad cop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw that out there. Not every cop is a bad cop.
100% agree.
How I view it is I think that people are not being trained properly. I think there are, of course, there's going to be a few cracks in every system, but I do want to put that out there. Like, I don't want people running around saying all cops are bad, and so therefore let's attack every cop. There are cops out there, honestly, who feel the same way that we do. And I've seen on social media them coming out and they're saying things like, this is not right. You know, this does need to stop. People need proper training, this, that, and the other. And there's been a few that have gotten fired for coming out and being against things. So, I mean, I look at it as in they're in a tough spot as well, the ones who are not for these acts, because they still have a job to do. They still have to go out there and they still have to represent, you know, whatever police department that they're in. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's how that they genuinely feel, like that they're for what is going on. They're for the unjust. So right. I think that's just my take on that.
And then just from a standpoint of being fair, when I finally got a chance to sit down and watch the news, and I watched the video on I think it was CNN or Fox, I can't remember which one, but it's irrelevant. But watching that video, I can honestly say I had to hold back tears. And then that very next night, I watched the video. Actually, the video was Martin Luther King's last speech on YouTube that he gave at Mason Temple there in Georgia or Atlanta. And then, I'm sorry, Mason Temple in Tennessee, but nonetheless, and he said, you know, don't quote me, but somewhere I read, you know, the right to protest. Somewhere I read the right to freedom of speech. Somewhere I read to that right, and the right to stand up and protest for right. So the people that's looting and rioting, that's their right. They're expressing just their right to be able to protest for right, because what happened was absolutely wrong. And at the end of the day, just make everything fair. I don't believe that, you know, levels of or echelons of, you know, of law enforcement, you know, have a up, but they do on just regular civilian society as it relates to. Well, I'm a cop, so I shouldn't get the same punishment if I commit the same crime as this person. I truly believe laws across the board should be fair, and I think it's just need to be a hard look at just the justice system, period. Right. I'm not saying necessarily an entire overhaul of that, but it needs to really be looked at and then understood. If you know your rights, right? And can articulate those rights to a police officer or a judge or whatever, I think you stand in a better place, just from an education standpoint, knowing, you know, what's allowed and what's not, what's to be tolerated and what should not be tolerated. As I said before, we have a right to do not necessarily what we want, but in the realm of reason in this country. And the minute that's ignored, same thing happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Cleveland. People become outraged and upset, and we just gotta wait until it dies down.
I would like to chime in on that when you're saying that we have a right to react. Now, yes, we have a right to feel how we feel. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right to riot. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you're vandalizing properties that have nothing to do with the situation. I view that as in, I think about Colin Kaepernick, where he kneed, and that was considered wrong. And rioting, that was considered wrong. So it's like, we're kind of like in this gray area of what is considered right. Like, how do we actually express how we feel about this without being considered wrong for what we're doing, or wrong for standing up for what we believe in. And it's just being very careful about, like.
And I think that's the crazy part about this. You know, she referenced Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem, right? And that, in his way, and in my opinion, was a peaceful protest.
Right.
But then, you know, on the other side of this, we have multiple African American men and women being murdered, you know, in the streets, and then rioting or looting starts happening, and that is a form of protest. But we have to be very careful because a lot of those protests are taking places in African American communities where some people broke their backs, right, to get to where they are and to have businesses and to be business owners and pretty much spent their life savings just to start something for their kids. And now that's kind of being taken away from them because of outrage, because of people being upset because of what happened. So like you said, it's a great area, but I think people need to be very careful and try to understand and consider those people that they're hurting, in fact, in their way of protest. But I think it's like you said, I agree, it's a great area, but you know, people just gotta look at the other side of it as well.
All of this is just truly unfortunate. It's crazy because I never thought that I would live in times like this, and then to think where are we heading in the future? You know, if nothing happens now, if none of these police officers are actually being sentenced or having to face those consequences, where are we in the future? And that's where I was saying earlier about being scared as a mother. I'm unsure of how things are going to be, and if we don't get them corrected today, or if we don't get something in place today, it's just going to affect everything later down the line. So
so just being, you know, an American, it truly means something to me, and I don't take it for granted, because there's other countries and other people in this world who don't get the same I guess you could say rights or privileges that we are afforded.
Being black in America is something else.
But being black in America, in eyes of the others, or in eyes of just African American community, does mean, you know, something different. It's a constant, everyday struggle, and I think it's regardless of your profession. You have to kind of, I don't want to say necessarily claw your way towards the top, but it does take your work ethic. You have to have a very strong work ethic, and the person next to you of a different nationality could, you know, not work as hard as you, but get recognized more. But I know she referenced, you know, going back to justice and keep on that topic. A couple months ago, we were on a trip to Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and now, rightfully so, I was speeding. and if anyone knows me, close friends, the truth is the truth, no matter how ugly it is. I was speeding. But on the other side of that, I really didn't realize it. Honestly, God's truth, I did not know I was speeding. And in my rearview mirror, seen the lights, pulled over, What was the first thing I did?
Just give him his.
No,
he asked me for his registration.
The first thing I did was put on my four-ways.
Oh,
that's the very first thing I did. Put on my four-way blinkers. Just know, like, hey, I'm slowing down. Hey, I see you. I'm pulling over. So I pulled over. I asked Crystal, hey, give me my insurance and my registration on my glove box. He came to, I think, to your side of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say hello, good afternoon. It's just like that. Gave it to him. And he took it and said, no, I pulled you over. And I told him, I'm pretty sure I was speeding. Mm-hmm. And I did not think I told him like I was doing whatever the speed limit was I thought I was doing. He said it was like 10 miles over that. Mm-hmm. And then he went back, ran my stuff. Obviously, for me, I checked out. I try to abide by the law. And his words was, in an area where we're in, I was unsure what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Predominantly, white community, Oklahoma. I just unfamiliar territory. So he came back, gave my stuff, and he said, "Thank you for being so polite, and thanks for being, just obedient and just not, why'd you pull me over, yada yada yada." And I said, "Hey, no issue. You got a job to do. So do I." And in that case, I already knew I was wrong, and I didn't want to escalate the situation whatsoever. And it could have been if I would have just been, just a total a-hole, but I didn't want that. But justice is not just. Justice is not equal.
No. Justice
is not fair, and I think we really need to understand that. But on the other side of that, we need to really educate ourselves about what is right. What is right, what is wrong, what you can be charged for, what you can't be charged for. She referenced the cop.
Knowing your rights.
Absolutely.
Knowing your rights.
Knowing your rights. Mm-hmm. And it goes a long way. So educate yourself, stay educated. Crystal, she just, she got her bachelor's degree. I'm a political science major, working on a couple more classes. Now I have my bachelor's degree knocked out. But as long as you know what's acceptable in the eyes of the law and what's absolutely not acceptable, regardless mm-hmm. of skin color, the law is the law. Yep. And at the end of the day, uphold your values, your beliefs, your convictions, and in the same token, understand, like I said, what is right and what is wrong. But justice is not fair, and it's, like I said, need to be looked at more carefully.
Yes. And I think we're about to wrap that up, ladies and gentlemen.
So, as we said, again, nothing scripted, fresh off the cuff. Did I say grill first time?
He said fresh off the grill, y'all. This man think about food. So he meant to say fresh off the grid.
So I don't even think that's right, but every Saturday we'll do another topic. We'll either pick it or you can drop something in and we'll just add your topic to the bowl. Yeah. I really appreciate you guys who have already subscribed.
Yep.
And I thank all those who will subscribe. Please be very open, be honest, be candid, what we can do better, what we can work on. Again, no judgment, complete and utter transparency here. We want to get this up and going, and
give us some feedback. What you like, what you didn't like, what sounded stupid.
What didn't make sense, and we'll go back and critique ourselves and work on the next video. But again, we will not rehearse or script any topic whatsoever. Whatever we pick, we'll pick and we'll talk about it right off our heart. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you. Stay blessed. Stay vigilant. Stay you. Flaws and all.
Flaws and all.